experiment is how smell affects memory. Our research question was, does smell affect memory, and if so, how and why? We will be testing how effective different smells are to your short-term memorization skills. How does your olfaction work? Well, incoming scents are generally processed by the olfactory bulb, which is this area of the brain. This is where the smell is inhaled. The olfactory bulb connects to the parts of the brain associated with memory called the amygdala and hippocampus. According to research, we believe that good smells would result in beneficial outcomes since the smells you intake directly affect your cognitive function. This leads us to believe that good smells may be more effective in improving memory. Based on this information, we found 2 generally seen good smells that might improve memorization skills. Peppermint is proven to stimulate the brain and improve focus. Lavender is proven to alleviate stress. And since the effects that peppermint has on you seem to better help memory than lavender, we hypothesized that peppermint would be the most effective smell, lavender will be the second best, and no smell or control would be the least effective.
You might be asking, why is this relevant for everyday life? Well, we will be testing at a younger age. This might help to find the most effective smell to study, and most importantly, this can help improve short-term and possibly long-term memory. These are the materials that we use in our experiment and procedure throughout. We used about 1 to 4 lavender and peppermint candles, 5 blindfolds, a computer for each member of our group, a box of matches, and a lunch tray.
We set up in a mostly quiet space and then blindfolded the test subjects to prevent any visual distractions. Then we started testing. The photo with the trifold board was when we tested lavender. We used a trifold board when testing other people so that the smell would circulate the test subject. The photo in the hallway was when we tested our control. No smell. We lit the candles in a separate rooms and called in the test subject and let them smell the scent for about a minute. We then blindfolded each test subject and recorded their age. We chose 10 words, some that the test subject did not know and some that the test subject did know to make it similar to a quiz. We repeated the words a bit faster when we said it the second time, and then asked them to recite the words back to us. We recorded how many words they were able to recall and whether or not they enjoyed this.
Our findings. This chart explains and shows the average of the sources of each test subject out of versus the different scents they smelled. As you can see, the average of test subject scores for peppermint was 4.4 out of 10, for lavender 3.7 out of 10, and for our control, no smell, 3.6 out of 10. This graph shows the test subject smell preferences. In total, we tested 30 students, and 25 out of these 30 students liked lavender, while only 5 students did not like it. We also would like to point out that each test subject smelled all 3 smells. 23 students liked the peppermint, while only 7 didn't. Our graph shows that smell does affect memory. Peppermint proves to be better than lavender and no smell. 3 people disliked the 2 smells, meaning that we didn't have significant information to prove if it does help or doesn't help to like or dislike the smell. We also found out that we tested more 8th graders participants than any other grade.
One of our errors was that we didn't have control over the noise level in the room, so the inconsistent noise levels could have changed our data. A limitation that we encountered was that as we recited the words, we didn't say oh,
you're breaking up.
To comprehend the words. Each of the circles were slightly different. This could have caused a difference with score. What we encountered was that when we tested no smell, there could have been some smell in there when we tested it on subjects, disrupting our study. A weakness that we had in our experiment was that we did not have enough time to test more than 30 people. If we could, we would take the time to find more test subjects and have them do our experiment so that we would have a more accurate and conclusive outcome. We can conclude from our experiment that smell might have some effect, some connection with memory, and our results show that peppermint could be linked to improving it. However, we cannot definitively say that it does, since our results were so close and we faced some errors that may have interfered with the outcomes. The next step of our experiment could be to find more about peppermint to see if its ingredients do correlate with memory. Next slide. Okay. These are the websites that we use to fund research for our experiment. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. You know the drill. If there are any questions, you guys can raise your hands virtually, and then presenting group, you can call on them by bringing up the participants list and just seeing whose hand is raised. Feel free to also offer any compliments that you liked about the presentation, class.
Nothing.
All right, then I have a couple notes myself. First of all, I thought this was a really interesting project, and you guys laid out your presentation in a very logical, sequenced way, and so we could follow along very well. Pictures also were good in terms of illustrating what you did. One of my questions was, you mentioned that you asked everybody what their preferences for the smells were, whether or not they liked peppermint or lavender. Can you just explain a little more detail how you think their preferences might have affected the data?
So we noticed that generally people who liked the smells did better. So if someone didn't like peppermint, they would have done worse than someone who liked peppermint.
Yeah, we just assumed that it might be distracting.
Okay.
Like, the person's point of
It
view
also-
of it could be distracting, or
But our research showed that smells people liked improve their cognitive function.
Yeah, we also saw that, like, I mean, the way we chose peppermint and lavender was based on whether, like, generally seeing good smells, and we, like, the research that we did showed that smells that were people liked actually did affect their outcomes, memory.
So that's really interesting, actually. I would love to see a graph showing that. In addition to your other graphs, I guess there's
We do have a graph.
for showing preferences versus.
Yeah.
I mean, specifically, you do have a graph showing their preferences, but I mean, specifically showing preferences versus score improvement.
We have that.
Did I
I'm
miss?
not sure if it's in the slideshow though.
Yeah, I can go back.
I remember we made one like that.
Yeah.
Wait, can you see this thing?
Yeah.
You
see the I'm looking right now at the number of people who liked each smell or didn't like it. I think
This is not as talk about.
okay. Well, just saying this
But
is
anyway,
interesting.
yeah.
It is a very interesting route for I think further inquiry. I think Ethan had his hand up too.
So I was wondering, did you guys incorporate how strong each smell was, so like how close the candle was to the person? Because I know like there's some smells that I like, but when it's too strong, I can't stand it. So did you guys incorporate that into your experiment about how strong it was and have a universal amount of space between the candle and the person?
I think in a minute it would equally, like, it would about spread out the same amount and have the same effect on each person, a certain amount of smell for each participant. So
So I mean more about like how strong the smell is. Just like you could have a smell and like if you're near it, you smell it. Like, you smell the same thing, but it's much stronger than if you were a few more feet away from it. I mean, you still smell it, but it wouldn't be an overpowering scent. So do you think
so
that
it's like,
data?
as you see in the pictures, the person was like sitting right next to it.
Okay.
So it would be like if you were studying for a vocab test
Yeah.
and you had the candle on your desk right next to you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Any other questions? Oh, Lynn.
Yeah. So you guys said that the second time you repeated the words to the test subjects, you said it faster.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Because the first time we were going to say it one time, like just one time, but then we thought that when we were testing our procedure, we found that we needed to repeat it one more time, and I think the person would get like a bit lost in the words if we were to say it really slow. Like the first time we were like word and then next word, and then the next time we just like read through it, and if we said it at the same pace as we did before, we were finding that it was like distracting the person.
Also, one more thing is usually when you study for a test, you will go over the material very slowly, clearly in the beginning, and right before the test, you probably skim over the information. So we wanted to make it as accurate as possible, like studying for a test.
Thank you.
Ethan, do you have another question?
No, I just never took it down. Sorry.
Anyone else?
Any compliments?
All right. If there's no one else, then thank you very much, guys. Karen, if you don't mind unsharing your screen.